Welcome back, dear friends, to our sanctuary of the hidden and the profound. Tonight, we are leaving the open sea and the desert sands behind. We are traveling to the very heart of the Middle Kingdom, to a place that was, for 500 years, the center of the universe for 1/5 of the human race. We are entering the Forbidden City of Beijing. Imagine, if you will, standing before the Great Meridian Gate. The sun is just beginning to rise, casting a golden light over the high, red walls and the vast, empty plazas. This is not just a palace. It is a walled world, a city within a city, containing 999 rooms, designed to mirror the celestial court of the North Star. For 5 centuries, no one could enter or leave without the emperor's permission. To step inside without invitation was to invite death. Inside these walls, life was a masterpiece of ritual and art. Every movement, every color, and every sound was governed by a strict, ancient code. From the dragon-carved thrones of the Qing Dynasty to the secret gardens of the Empress, we are going to peel back the silk curtains of history. Tonight, as you settle into your deepest state of relaxation, imagine the smell of sandalwood incense drifting through the marble halls. Feel the cool, polished floors beneath your feet and the heavy, silent weight of 500 years of secrets. We are going to explore the architecture of power, the art of the inner court, and the private dreams of the men and women who lived inside the forbidden heart of China. Let us begin our meditation on the City of the Dragon. 1. The architecture of the North Star, the palace layout. The Forbidden City was not built for comfort. It was built for cosmic alignment. The architects of the Qing Dynasty, who began construction in 1406, believed that the emperor was the son of heaven. Therefore, his home had to be a perfect reflection of the heavens. The entire palace is built on a central axis, running from south to north. This is the spine of the empire. As you move along this axis, the buildings become more grand, more sacred, and more forbidden. The layout is based on the number 9, the highest single digit, which represents the emperor's supreme power. As we walk through the first great plazas, notice the scale. The space is designed to make the individual feel small and the emperor feel infinite. The ground is paved with golden bricks, not made of gold, but so meticulously crafted from clay that they ring like metal when struck. Everything is color-coded. The walls are the color of dried blood, representing the earth. The roofs are covered in glazed yellow tiles, a color reserved strictly for the emperor, representing the sun. Only one building in the entire city has a black roof, the library, because black represents water, a symbolic protection against fire. As you imagine this sea of yellow rooftops glowing in the morning sun, feel your own thoughts becoming organized, structured, and aligned. You are entering a world of perfect order. 2. the Hall of Supreme Harmony, the Dragon Throne. At the very center of the outer court stands the most important building in China, the Hall of Supreme Harmony. This is the highest point in the city, sitting on a three-tiered marble terrace. It was here, on the morning of the new year, or at the coronation of a new emperor, that the destiny of the empire was decided. Inside, the air is dim and cool. At the center, surrounded by 6 massive, gold-leafed pillars, sits the dragon throne. Above the throne, in the ceiling, is a carved dragon holding a pearl in its mouth. Legend said that if a pretender, someone not of the royal blood, sat on the throne, the pearl would fall and strike them dead. The art of this room is a language of power. The emperor would sit in total silence while thousands of officials knelt in the plaza outside, foreheads touching the cold stone. This was the Great Harmony. It was the belief that if the emperor performed the rituals correctly, the rain would fall, the crops would grow, and the people would be at peace. Think of the silence of this hall. It is a heavy, dignified silence. As you imagine the golden dragons winding around the pillars, feel your own breath becoming deep and steady. You are at the center of the world. There is no need to move, no need to speak. There is only the steady, rhythmic pulse of history and the quiet, golden light of the throne. 3. The inner court, the private world of the harem. Once you pass the gate of heavenly purity, the world changes. The grand public plazas of the outer court give way to a maze of narrow, intimate alleys and quiet, walled courtyards. This is the inner court, the private residence of the emperor and his family. This was a world of women. Aside from the emperor and his young sons, no man was allowed to stay here after dark. The inner court was home to the Empress, the concubines, and thousands of lady-in-waitings. It was a place of extreme luxury and extreme loneliness. The art of the inner court is the art of the miniature. While the outer court is made of massive stone and wood, the inner court is filled with delicate jade carvings, silk fans, and intricate embroidery. Every courtyard was a garden, filled with ancient twisted cypress trees and scholars' rocks, limestone boulders eroded by water into strange, hollow shapes. Imagine the sound of silk robes rustling against the marble, the clink of jade jewelry, and the low, hushed voices of women playing chess or painting poetry. Life here moved slowly. It was a world of waiting, waiting for the emperor's visit, waiting for the change of seasons, waiting for the news from the outside world. As you relax into your bed, let the quiet, cloistered energy of the inner court surround you. You are in a safe, protected space where the outside world cannot reach. 4. The eunuchs, the silent shadows. To maintain the purity of the imperial bloodline, the only men allowed to serve in the inner court were the eunuchs. They were the third gender of the Forbidden City, the silent shadows who ran the day-to-day life of the palace. At its height, there were over 3,000 eunuchs living inside the walls. They were the emperor's closest confidants, the empress's hairdressers, and the keepers of the palace keys. They were often poor boys who had sacrificed their manhood for a chance at power and wealth inside the forbidden walls. The art of the eunuch was the art of the detail. They were the ones who ensured that the emperor's tea was exactly 80 degrees, that his robes were folded without a single wrinkle, and that the incense was lit at the precise moment of the dawn. They were the masters of protocol. Think of the patience of these men. They lived their entire lives within these red walls, seeing only the same sky, the same yellow roofs. They were the living memory of the palace. As you listen to the rhythmic, steady beat of your own heart, think of these silent guardians. They remind us that there is dignity in the small tasks and power in the silence. 5. The Empress's wardrobe, the art of silk. In the Qing Dynasty, clothing was not just fashion, it was a map of status. An empress's robe could take over 2 years to complete, involving dozens of the finest weavers in the empire. These dragon robes were made of the highest quality silk, embroidered with seed pearls, coral, and peacock feathers. The patterns were a cosmic code. On the chest, a 5-clawed dragon represented the emperor. Around the hem, waves and mountains represented the earth and the sea. When the Empress moved, she was a living representation of the entire universe. The colors were strictly regulated. Only the Empress and the Emperor could wear bright yellow. A consort of a lower rank might wear apricot yellow or golden yellow. To wear the wrong shade was a crime. Imagine the weight of such a robe, the heavy, smooth silk against your skin, the scent of the cedar chest where it was stored. The art of the needle was the highest form of expression for the women of the court. They would spend their days creating tiny, perfect stitches, telling stories of peonies, phoenixes, and clouds. Let the softness of the silk enter your mind. Feel the comfort of the bright yellow light, protecting you and keeping you warm in the dark. 6. The scholarly emperor, the art of calligraphy. While the world saw the emperor as a warrior and a ruler, many of the Qing emperors, like Kangxi and Qianlong, saw themselves primarily as scholars. In the hall of mental cultivation, the emperor would spend hours every day practicing the art of calligraphy. In China, calligraphy is considered the highest form of art. It is the marriage of the mind, the hand, and the breath. Each character is a mathematical balance of black ink and white paper. The emperor would use a brush made of rabbit hair and ink made from the soot of pine trees. Imagine the emperor sitting at his desk of red sandalwood. He takes a deep breath, centering his energy before his brush touches the paper. The stroke must be confident, fluid, and perfect. There are no erasures in calligraphy. It is a record of a single, focused moment. This was the emperor's meditation. It was how he stayed grounded amidst the pressures of ruling an empire of 300 million people. He was looking for the qi, the life force, in the movement of the ink. As you prepare for sleep, Think of your own life as a scroll of paper. Every breath you take is a stroke of the brush, creating a pattern of peace and balance. You are the scholar of your own soul, and the page is beautiful. 7. The Forbidden Gardens, Nature in a Jar. In the northernmost part of the city lies the Imperial Garden. This is the only place where the rigid, geometric order of the palace breaks down. Here, the paths wind, the rocks are jagged, and the water flows in natural, irregular streams. The garden was a place of escape. It was designed to feel like the wild mountains of southern China, compressed into a tiny, walled space. It is the art of penjing, the precursor to the Japanese bonsai. The gardeners would stunt the growth of trees and shape them into ancient, gnarled forms, creating a forest that was only 3 feet tall. The sounds of the garden were carefully curated. The wind whistling through the bamboo, the splashing of the koi in the pond, the chirping of crickets in golden cages. Every sound was a note in a natural symphony. The emperor and his concubines would come here to drink tea and watch the moon reflect in the water. Imagine yourself in the garden at midnight. The yellow roofs are silent, and the red walls seem to disappear into the dark. You are standing on a small stone bridge, watching the white lotus flowers glowing in the moonlight. The air is cool and smells of pine and damp moss. There is no palace, no empire, no duty. There is only the garden and the quiet, rhythmic pulse of the night. 8. The Ritual of Tea, the Art of the Sip. In the private courtyards of the inner court, the tea ceremony was a daily ritual of connection and calm. This was not the quick, casual tea of the marketplace. This was the gong fu tea, the art of taking time. The water was brought from specific, sacred springs and heated over charcoal made from olive pits. The tea leaves, rare oolong or delicate green tea, were rinsed and steeped in tiny, purple clay teapots from Yixing. These pots were unglazed, allowing them to remember the flavor of every tea ever brewed inside them. Imagine the small porcelain cups, so thin they are almost transparent. The tea is a pale, golden green. You hold the cup in both hands, feeling the warmth, and you breathe in the steam. It smells of mountains, mist, and sun-warmed earth. The ritual was a way of slowing down time. Every movement, the pouring, the smelling, the sipping, was done with total focus. It was a shared silence between friends. As you sink deeper into your blankets, imagine yourself taking a sip of this imperial peace. Feel the warmth spreading through your body, from your chest to your fingertips, bringing a sense of total, blissful relaxation. 9. The Night Watch, the Sound of the Wood. As night fell over the Forbidden City, the great gates were locked with massive iron bolts. The city became a fortress of silence. But the silence was broken, rhythmically, by the night watch. The eunuch guards would walk the alleys, carrying lanterns and 2 pieces of hollow wood. Every hour, they would strike the wood together, clack, 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 to signal that all was well. The sound would echo off the high, red walls, a comforting, steady reminder that the emperor was safe and the world was in order. Think of that sound now, echoing in the dark. It is a protective sound. It means that the walls are strong and the guardians are awake. You don't need to worry about the outside world. The gates of your own sanctuary are locked, and you are safe inside. The light of the lanterns flickers against the yellow tiles, creating dancing shadows of dragons and phoenixes. The city is asleep, and so are you. The clack of the wood is a heartbeat, a slow, rhythmic pulse that lulls you into the deepest, most peaceful state of rest. 10. The shadow of the past, the fall of the Qing. One of the most moving things about the Forbidden City is the sense of what has been lost. In 1912, the last emperor, a 6-year-old boy named Puyi, was forced to abdicate. The Son of Heaven became a citizen, and the center of the universe became a museum. But the city did not die. It simply changed its role. The art remained. The golden bricks still ring. The dragon throne still glows in the dim light, and the incense still drifts through the halls. The city is a witness to the fact that beauty is more permanent than power. Empires rise and fall, but the curve of a roof, the color of a robe, and the stroke of a brush endure. This is the forbidden part of the city today, the realization that we cannot go back to that world of absolute ritual, but we can still feel its energy. We can still learn from its focus, its balance, and its dedication to the sublime. As you reflect on the changes in your own life, remember the Forbidden City. It has survived wars, revolutions, and the passage of time. It stands as a monument to the human desire for order and beauty. Even when the world changes around us, the palace of our own spirit remains safe, silent, and eternal. 11. The Imperial Kitchens, the art of the feast. The Forbidden City was a city of appetite. To feed the emperor and his court, there were over 500 cooks and thousands of servants working in the imperial kitchens. The emperor's meals were a display of total, absolute abundance. A single dinner might consist of 120 different dishes, served on yellow glazed porcelain. There were bird's nest soups, shark fins, bear paws, and delicate, flower-shaped pastries. But the emperor would often only taste 2 or 3 dishes. The rest was a symbolic offering to the ancestors and a display of the empire's wealth. The art of the kitchen was the art of the presentation. A carrot would be carved into a miniature phoenix. A piece of ice would be shaped into a lotus flower. The food was meant to feed the eyes before it fed the stomach. Imagine the smells of the kitchen drifting through the palace at dusk: roasting duck, ginger, star anise, and sweet honey. It is a rich, comforting aroma. As you relax, think of the abundance of your own life. You have enough. You are enough. Let the feeling of imperial satisfaction wash over you, leaving you full, warm, and ready for sleep. 12. The Clock Gallery, Time in the Forbidden City. One of the strangest and most beautiful collections in the palace is the Clock Gallery. In the 18th century, the Qing emperors became obsessed with European clocks. They collected thousands of them, clocks with moving birds, clocks with fountains of glass, clocks that could play Western melodies. These clocks were not used to tell the time. The emperor's time was eternal. They were seen as toys for the Son of Heaven. They were masterpieces of mechanical art. Every hour, the palace would erupt in a cacophony of chimes, whistles, and songs as thousands of gears turned in unison. These clocks represented the meeting of East and West. They were a bridge between the ancient, cyclic time of China and the linear, mechanical time of Europe. Today, they sit in silent glass cases, their gears still, their songs finished. Think of the clockwork of your own body. Your breath is the pendulum, swinging back and forth, back and forth. Your heartbeat is the steady, rhythmic ticking. Everything is in sync. Everything is in order. You don't need to watch the time. The emperor's time is your time now, a time that has no beginning and no end. 13. The Forbidden Library, the Art of the Word. Deep in the inner court lies the Wenyuan Chamber, the Imperial Library. This is the home of the Siku Chuanshu, the complete library of the four treasuries. It is the largest collection of books ever assembled in pre-modern history, containing over 36,000 volumes. The books were written by hand by thousands of scholars. They contain the history, philosophy, and poetry of 5,000 years of Chinese civilization. The covers are made of silk, and the pages are made of the finest bamboo paper, which smells of earth and old, dried ink. This was the brain of the empire. The emperor would come here to read the wisdom of the ancients, searching for the answers to the problems of the present. He believed that by studying the past, he could perfect the future. Imagine the silence of the library. It is a thick, intellectual silence. The air is cool and smells of old paper and wood. As you wander through the stacks in your mind, notice the beauty of the books. They are not just information, they are objects of art. Let the wisdom of the ages settle over you like a heavy silk blanket. You don't need to know the answers tonight. The books are keeping them safe for you. 14. The Final Sunset, a meditation on gold. As we reach the end of our journey, imagine the sun setting over the Forbidden City for the very last time. The sky is a deep, bruised purple, and the yellow roofs are glowing with a final, brilliant gold. The palace is a rose gold city in this light. The high, red walls are turning dark, and the white marble terraces are shining like bones. This is the moment when the forbidden becomes the eternal. The city is no longer a place of power, it is a place of peace. The emperor is gone, the eunuchs are gone, and the concubines are gone. But the city remains. It is a sanctuary for the spirit, a place where we can go to find the dragon within ourselves, the part of us that is strong, dignified, and at peace with the universe. As you close your eyes, feel the gold of the Forbidden City entering your heart. You are the emperor of your own dreams. You are safe within your own walls. The night is your empire, and it is vast and beautiful and silent. And so, dear friends, we leave the Meridian Gate and return to the world of the present. We carry the secrets of the Forbidden City with us, the red walls, the yellow roofs, and the silent, gold-leafed dragons. The city has taught us that there is beauty in ritual and peace in order. It has shown us that even in the most restricted, walled world, the human spirit can find a way to create masterpieces of art and thought. We are all sons and daughters of heaven, and we all have a forbidden city within us, a place of quiet and majesty and eternal rest. As you drift off, feel the weight of the golden bricks supporting you. Feel the silk of the Empress's robe surrounding you. You are a part of a long, beautiful history. You are a dreamer, and the dream is ancient and gold and full of wonder. May your dreams be as grand as the Hall of Supreme Harmony and as quiet as the Imperial Garden. May you find the dragon throne within yourself, a place of balance and dignity and eternal peace. Sleep well, dear friends, and find rest in the heart of the Dragon City. Good night.